How do we feel love in the midst of fear and pain and negative emotion? We're going to talk about that today. This is Tom Kieran with the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Welcome back, creators. I want to talk about mastering blessing, the wisdom of blessing. The idea, blessing really, Gregg Braden talks about this in The Secrets of the Lost Mode of Prayer. Very powerful, where he pulls together information from the ancient texts and the ancient scriptures and the masters and prophets of centuries ago, of thousands of years ago, and talks about how they viewed blessing. Blessing really it's the idea of forgiveness, right? That although there's negative emotion, we release that negative emotion. We release that fear, and then we feel the love. This is the idea, right? To feel love in the midst of fear or of strong negative emotion. This is the idea of forgiveness or blessing. And what do we have to do? We have to suspend judgment, right? A lot of our negative emotion, a lot of our hurt, a lot of our pain comes from judging things as good or bad or right or wrong. And if we view it as wrong, that hurts us. If we view it as bad, that hurts us in some way. And this is where a lot of our negative emotion comes from. So what does blessing do? The idea of blessing is to acknowledge the experience. Acknowledge it. Don't hide your negativity. Don't repress it. Don't shut down, and don't react to it, right? Because when we try to bury that negative emotion, it gets buried in our bodies. It doesn't go away. We may be doing some things, develop some addictions to just going out all the time, or activities, or some way to hide or cloak the pain. You can't hide it, guys. So what do you do? What do you do? Because it's still there in your body, and it's probably going to make you sick. And I don't mean just psychologically, I mean literally, right? Holding that negativity in your body. We transform it. That's what blessing is. You transform. It's transformative. You transform the hurt into a new experience. An experience where this is where wisdom comes out of it, right? When you can turn a past painful experience and look at it without the emotion, then it becomes wisdom. Right? If we can look at a past experience that was negative and that hurt us and that caused us pain, without the emotion now, without that negative emotion now, that's what you call wisdom, right? Because we're able to look back at it and see it for what it is. This is brilliant. And if you can do this in the moment, right? So allow the idea is not to suppress the hurt, not to shut down, not to react, not to hide it, but to allow it to move through your body. In this way, you're not keeping it suppressed in your body. You're not keeping it, hiding it, right? You're releasing that hurt. This is what blessing is. It's basically redefining your feelings about what's hurting you, right? And developing a new experience around it. This is how you get wisdom, right? This is really the wisdom of a blessing, because if you can look at a past event and forgive and look at it in a new way, without the emotion, without the negativity, that's wisdom. And then the love pours in, right? Because part of holding on to negative emotion is we don't let that natural love come up. We don't let that natural love envelope us. And that's part of what happens with negative emotion. So essentially, you're freeing up these hurtful emotions, these negative emotion, this pain gets stuck in our bodies. It gets stuck there, right? And if we keep burying it, it stays there and literally makes you sick, right? Makes you ill. This is where disease comes from. This is where a lot of, science is talking a lot more about the effects of emotion on your body, right? So you got to move beyond the good and the bad and the right and the wrong and become more of the thing and become more than. This is important. Joe Dispenza talks about this. Become more than the things that hurt us. Become more than the things that hurt you. Become more than those experiences. That's when you grow. That's when you're blessing, and that is wisdom, right? If you can become more than the things that hurt you, wow. That, my friend, that's real power. That's where your greatest power is. That's wisdom of the heart, right? That's true wisdom. That's great power when you can elevate. You've got to be greater than who you were, right? When you were having those negative emotions. Joe Dispenza talks about this quite a bit when he talks about in one of his books, becoming breaking the habit of being you, right? So you have to break that habit. You've got to elevate. You've got to rise in consciousness to a higher level with those higher level emotions. You've got to rise to a higher level than those emotions that you were feeling or who you were before. This is what we talk about all the time in terms of leveling up and reaching that higher level of consciousness, because that's what it is, right? It's really leveling up to a higher level of consciousness, being conscious of who you are now, without those negative emotions, right? So it's redefining those events, guys. And it doesn't, of course, there's therapists and things that talk about, and this can be useful, looking at the event, determining why it happened, all of that stuff. But that could go on and on and on unless you make the choice and the decision to look at it, right? What you resist persists. So when you're looking and digging that stuff up, you're still resisting it in some ways, right? But if you can look at it and then rise above it, and then reestablish relationship to it. It can help certainly can help by looking at it, analyzing a bit, and finding out why you were hurting and so forth. No question. But if you keep looking at it and stay in that vibration, then you never rise above it. You never get into that higher you, that greater power. This is powerful, guys. Become more than the things that hurt you. This is what I wanted to hit on today. This is how you master the wisdom of blessing. Once you bless it, once you forgive, you release all that. The experience doesn't go away. It's an experience. But the emotion that attached to it is redefined. You've redefined the experience. You have changed the past, right? This is powerful, right? And we talked about how these experiments from quantum physics, when these particles or waves make a different decision in the present based on the past. So this is powerful stuff. This shows us that we can have that past, present, and future is all happening at the same time, and that we can change the past. We can change how we feel about the past, and that changes the past, also changes your present, and changes your future as well. Yeah, we'll talk more about this. This is Tom Karen with the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment and share our videos. That's how we get our message out. Yeah, this is Tom. Until next time. See you soon.